Okay, so greetings of the day, students. So my name is Navleen Kaur, and in today's class, we are going to cover a new topic under programming in Python. And what's the name of the topic? The name of the topic is list. Okay, so we have already covered one topic in the same line, that is string. Okay, so let's discuss some of the features of the string. So first of all, what was string? A string is actually an array of characters that you just represent in the double quotes or sometimes in the single quotes also. The choice is yours, right? After that, I told you that the strings, they are immutable. Immutable means that once you create them, you can't do any changes to them, right? It means once created, they will remain unmodified. You can create a new string, obviously, but the existing string that you created, you can't do any changes to that string. Okay, so on that day we were doing some operations on the string. You remember we converted our string into uppercase, we converted our string into lowercase, and we also did the swap case, right? So the question that should come to your mind is that, ma'am, if you are saying that the changes are not possible, then why it is converting it into uppercase or lowercase or anything? So the answer is that these changes are temporary. Okay, so if I have a string S with the name Navleen with all the letters in small, all the letters in lowercase of Navleen, and I am storing those letters in the variable S. Okay, and then I apply the operation S dot upper, right? So what will happen? This operation S dot upper is temporarily converting and giving you the result in the uppercase, means all the letters will be now in the capital. But if you display S again after this, so you will say that S is still in lowercase, right? So it means the changes are temporary, and these changes are not happening on the original string. The original string is still S in the Navleen, with the value Navleen in the lowercase only, right? So now the next is the list that we are going to do today. So we have come across this topic multiple times, that list. What is a list? So whenever we go for shopping anywhere, or we go to grocery shopping, or we go for any other shopping, we always have a list in our mind. Okay, I want to purchase these things. Okay, if you went to a stationery shop, so what will be the list in your mind? The list will be that I am going to just purchase some pencils, eraser, or a ruler, right? Or maybe some blank pages, white pages, A4 sheets. Okay, so there is a list we have with us that I want to purchase these 4 items. Okay, similarly in Python also you can create a list of items. So a list is what? It is a sequence of values. Here I am not going to actually store some items directly, I am storing the values. Okay, if I am storing the value pencils, it means it will be a string. If I'm storing the value eraser in it, it means it will be a string. If I'm storing the value ruler, it is also a string. If I'm storing the value blank pages, so it is also a string. On the other hand, if I store the values like this, 2, 3, 10, 20, so this is a list of integers, right? So a list is actually a sequence of values. So values can be anything. It can be string values, it can be integer values, it can be float values, it can be bool values. So you can store anything in a list. Even you can create a list with a mixture of elements, right? So by mixture I mean that some elements, they are string, and some elements are what? Integers. So you can create a mixture of elements also in the list. So that's your choice, right? So actually it is a collection of elements. So the elements can be of any type. So any type means element can be a string, element can be an integer, element can be a floating point number, element can be a Boolean value, anything. Okay, so you remember when we were doing strings, I told you that which class is used for strings? Str class. This is the class. I'm not creating this class. Even you don't have to create this class. This class is already there. So whenever you create a string, you can create string. So that string belongs to this class. Similarly, whenever you create a list, that list will automatically become an object of which class? List class. Got it? So after that, the programmer can use list constructor to create a list. That this is another way of creating a list constructor, but we are not working on it. This is just for your knowledge that every class has some constructors. Okay, so lists, they can be created with the constructors also. Okay, so in nutshell, what this introduction says, a list is actually a sequence of values. Okay, and all the values, they will be separated with the comma. So this is the first element, comma, this is the second element, comma, this will be the third element, and so on. Then I told you that elements can be of any type, right? So elements can be your strings, your integers, anything. And then which class is used to define the list? List class, L-I-S-T, list class. Okay, so now let's suppose that we start creating a list, and we are not creating it without, we are creating it without, not with actually, but without constructor method. I'm not telling you how to do it with the constructor method. Instead, we are creating a list without using constructor of list class, because this is the easiest way of creating it. Even the strings that we were creating it without using the constructor of string class. Okay, so whenever you come across the list, even when you are at job, so this is the best method to create the list, and the fastest also, and the easiest also. Okay, so what the question says, that you have to create a list with any 3 integer elements. So the hint given to you is that you have to create a list, right? And in the list, what you have to put total how many elements? 3 elements. Okay, and it also telling you that what will be the type of the elements. All the elements will be of the type integer. So now the choice is yours, you can keep any elements. Okay, so for example, I am going to take the 3 elements 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so this is how we create a list. We write the name of the list. So suppose it is a list, so I am always representing it with the L letter. It's your choice. For example, when we were creating strings, how we were representing them? We were representing them with the S, capital or small, S for string. Similarly, now we are creating a list, so I am representing it with the L, right? Capital L or small l, that's purely your choice. So this is my first list element, so I am writing 1 also with it. You can write, you cannot write, that's your choice. Okay, now how to create a list? So L1 is the variable that is going to store my list. List is always created inside the square brackets. If you remember how we were creating the strings, string was always enclosed inside the double quotation marks or single quotation marks. So this was the property of string, that whenever you create a string, so string is always created by using double quotes or by using single quotes. Both are same. However, when you are creating a list, obviously this is a new data type. It's a new structure, data structure. So the way of creating it should definitely be different from string. So what is the difference? The difference is you always create a list, you give the name of the list, then with the equality sign, inside these square brackets, you write the elements of your list. Okay, so suppose my list has 3 elements. So 10 is the first element, comma, the second element after comma, then third element after comma, and this is my list. So suppose if I say that, okay, create a list of 5 integers. So what you will write? You will write, okay, this is my list 2. Okay, and any 5 integers, so let it be 11, 13, 15, 16, and 19. So this is a list of integers. How many integers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And why you are saying, or I am saying that it is a list? Because this square brackets is telling me that, okay, a list has been defined. Now, if the question is create a list of 5 strings, where the length of the string is not mentioned. So how you create the list of a string? Any 5 strings. Okay, so let it be A is the one string, E is another string, I is another string, O is another string, and U is another string. So if it is mentioned that the list should be a list of strings, so you know that your strings should always be in single quotes. Okay, so a list can contain integers, a list can contain strings. If I tell you, okay, create a list of your favorite colors, any 3 favorite colors of yours. Okay, so let you create the list L1 and you create the list of any 3 favorite colors. So the first one will be red, and you know that red is a string, so it will be in your single quotes. Then it will be maybe pink, then it may be yellow. So this is how you create a list of 3 favorite colors. So like your strings, you remember that in a string, suppose we have so many uh, characters. Like I was creating a string s equals to Navleen, right? Or Nav. Okay, and then I was fetching any one character. How was I fetching it? By giving the index. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So if I write the name of the string s and then I write 1, 1. So what I was getting? I was getting A. If I will write S0, I was getting N. If I was writing S2, I was getting V, right? So you can fetch any small single element out of your string by giving the position of it. Okay. Similarly, you know that your list is a collection of values or elements. Okay. And every element that you are putting into your list is being stored at a position like your string. Okay, so suppose this is a list, just don't look at it. So create a list of 5 elements. Okay, if it is not mentioned that the elements can be string or list or integers, so you can create any list with any 5 elements. So here it is a list of integers. Can you see the name of the list is L1? Okay, and how many integers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if I represent it like the way I was representing strings, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So the same way we can use to access the elements. Okay, so this is the name of the list L1. So the very first element will be at 0, L1, 0. After that, L1, 1, L1, 2, L1, 3, L1, 4. The same way we were doing with the strings. Okay, so now the elements of a list are identified by their positions. So if this is the element in the list, so how I will identify it? I will identify it with the position. So 30 is at second position. It is list one's second position element, although the positions start from 0, right? So the index operator is used to access the elements of a list. The same index operator that you were using to access the elements of a string, the same way you can also access the elements of a list also. Okay, so here is an example. How you write the name of the variable of a list. For example, L1 is the name of the variable of a list, and then you give the index, for example 0, 1, 2. So the index is also in the square brackets. One is that you use square brackets to represent your list. Other one is that your index operator is also square brackets. Okay, so if I write only L1, so this thing is happening in the shell. These operators are telling me if I write only L1, so what will happen? All the elements of the list will be displayed, right? If I write L1 only 0, L1, that is the name of the list, and then in the index operator I give only 0, so only the first element will be displayed. So like we were dealing with the negative indices in the string case, same will be applicable to your list also, right? So the negative index accesses the elements from the end of the list, like the string counting from the backward direction. Okay, so the index of the last element of any non-empty. Non-empty means the list should not be empty. The index of last element is always -1. So this is the same with the string also. So suppose I have a list with 5 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So sorry, there is an error here. So this is a list with 6 elements instead. Okay, so I have a list with 6 elements. So the name of the list is, suppose I write the name of the list is list 1, or you can write L1 also. You can write any name. You can write your name also. Okay, and then these are the 6 elements, random 6 elements. So how it is represented? It is represented like this. So if I write the negative indices, so this is -1, the last one, the second last is -2, third last is -3, fourth last is -4, fifth last is -5, and so on -6. The same way we are doing it with the, okay. So in case of list or in case of string also, Okay, so here if I show you here, so if there is the, this is the fifth element, this is the first element of your list, this is the second element, this is the third element, this is the fourth element, this is the fifth element. But if you talk about the positions, positions always start from 0. So the first element is at 0 position, second element is at first position, third element is at second position, fourth element is at third position, fifth element is at fourth position. Okay, so if it is the fifth element, the position is always one less than it. The same case, this is the same case we were doing with strings also, that if there is a string s with the name now in it, so this is the first element, this is the second, this is the third, but the positions always start from 0, 1 and 2. Similarly, in case of list also, positions, they always start from 0, right? And if you talk about negative indices, they always start from -1 and they start from the back side of the list. So this list is at -1. It means list 1's -1. What will be displayed? 60. List 1, because this is list 1 and it's -4. What will be displayed? 30. List 1's -5. What will be displayed? 20. So here are the examples. If you write list 1's -1, so 60 will be displayed. If you write list 1's -2, 50, list 1's -3, 40, and list 1's -6, then 10 will be displayed. So like we were doing string slicing, I want to get a small portion out of the string. There is a bigger string, I want to get a substring out of it. Similarly, I have a big list, I want to slice it, I want to cut it down into smaller pieces. Okay, and you know that whenever we are cutting a slice, so you always specify 2 indexes, from where to start the slice and where to end it. Okay, so how you write? You write the name of the list that you want to slice, and then what is the starting index, colon the ending index. This is the same way we were doing with strings also. So suppose I have a list L1 and it is a list of strings, normal strings, 1 letter strings, A, B, C, D, E, F, total 6 strings. If I display the list, so what will happen? If I write only L1, so L1 is the whole list, so the whole list will be displayed. Okay, if I write L1, right, and I write 1, starting index is 1, colon 3, so it means it will start from first. First means second actually. Okay, if I write the positions here, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So starting from 1 means from where it is starting, it is starting from here, from B. And 3, if it is mentioned, I told you that it always go 1 less than that. It means it will go till 2. It means it will go till 2. So the slice is B and C only. Okay, let me give you one more example, that if we write L1 and here we write 3, colon 6. So it means the slice will start from D. So the sub list, the smaller slice list that you will get will be D. Then up to 6, it means 5. It means D will come, E will also come, and up to F. So the output will be like this. So there can be options like this, L1, and you will be given like this. The first index, the starting index will be blank, and then colon, and then 4. So in that case, what will be the output? So if the starting index is blank, nothing is mentioned, it means you consider it that it is starting from by default 0. If starting is blank, it means by default you start cutting it from the beginning index, that is 0. And 4 is given, the ending index is given, it means the last will be 3, that is already given. Okay, so it means what will be the elements starting from 0? 0 will be there, 1 will be there, 2 will be there, and till 3. So the list output is A, B, C, and D. So if the starting index is not given to you, so by default you consider it to be 0. Similarly, if the ending index is not given, like this, starting is given but ending is not given. Okay, so ending will automatically be considered till the last. It means till the last you have to include. But starting is from 2, it means start from here and go till the last. So the output of it will be C, D, E, and F. If starting is missing, so start from the beginning. If the ending is missing, go till the ending. So sometime it will come like this, the name of the list and both the indexes empty. In that case, what will you consider? Both the indexes are empty. Only colon is mentioned. Space, colon, space. So it means you have to consider it from the start and go till the ending. It means output will be the whole list. Okay. So if either of the indexes is not given, neither this one nor this one, it means you have to start from the starting and go till the ending. So output will be the whole list. Okay. Sometimes the question comes like this. Same index is given on the both sides. Starting from 3, ending till 3. So if you start from 3 and end to 3 also, 3 means less than, 3 means 2. Is it possible that you are starting from 3 and ending at 2? No. So if both the indexes are given same, so you will get nothing. The output will be a blank list like this. We were doing operators with the your string also, the similar operators, the plus, the concatenation and star operator, we are going to use them on list also. So you remember that the plus operator was doing what? It was used to join to list, to concatenate to list, right? So if I have list 1 with the 4 elements, suppose, so obviously if you are concatenating the list, you minimum need 2 lists with you, only then you will be able to join them, right? So I have the list 1 which has 4 elements. I have list 2 which again has suppose any 4 elements of your choice. Then I am creating a list 3. So list 3 will become by adding list 1 with the list 2. So addition doesn't mean that the elements will get added. No, a new list will be created with all the elements from both the list. Got it? So it has just combined the elements of both the list to create a single new list, right? Then there is this star operator. It is used to replicate, or you can say that it is used to repeat the elements. The same way we were doing with the strings. So if this is a list, I have the list 1, 1, 2, 3. You can check what is there in list 1. So you write list 1, it will return you the elements of the list. Then you create a new list L2 by multiplying each element 3 times. It means each element will be replicated 3 times in the new list. Each element will be repeated 3 times. So in the new list L2, if you check what are the contents of L2, so 1, 2, 3 1 time, 1, 2, 3 2 times, and 1, 2, 3 3 times. It means L1 is repeated 3 times in the new list, which is L2. In operator, we use to check if there is existence of any element in the list. Okay, so in operator determine that whether an element is in a list or not, and we were using in operator with the string also, that if a character exists in the string or not, or a word exists in the string or not. So similarly, so suppose I have a list and it is a mixture of both strings. There are 3 strings and there are 3 integers. Possible. You can create a list, you can create a mixed list, right? So now we are checking 30 in L1. If I ask a question to myself that 30 is present in L1, so output will be true. Yes, 30 is present in L1. Next time I'm writing D in L1, can you see that D I'm writing because it is a string, so I'm writing it in single quotes. D in L1, but D is not present in L1, so I am getting false. Let me ask a new question to myself. B in L1, so if you are checking that a string is present, so you always put quotes around the string. But if it is an integer that you are checking, so integer is without quotes. Okay, B in L1, so the answer will be, what will be the answer? Answer will be true. If I will check E in L1, answer will be false. If I check 40 in L1, answer will be false. After that, so in is there, so not in is also available. So although I have not mentioned it here, so if I write 30 not in L1, So the question is 30 not present in L1. But can you see that 30 is present in L1? So output will be false. Okay. So you use in or you use not in. Okay. So both way it will work. Next, we have this new operator, is operator. You can use is with strings also. You can use is with the list also. Okay, so in the string class, I have not explained this is to you, but now I will explain it to you. So this is also like in can be used with both strings and integers. Okay, so suppose first of all, let's check the use of is operator. Okay, so it's check if two variable refer to the same object or different objects. Okay, so what it says actually, that let's take the example of string first. This is a string, can you see? And this is a list example. Okay, why it is a string example? Because a string A is created. And why it is a string? Because it is enclosed in the single quotes. So A has the value hello, it is a string. Similarly, B also has a value hello. It means A is also storing the same value hello, B is also storing the same value hello. So if I write A is B, it means A is equals to B, or A is B means both are same. In case of strings, you will get true. What does it mean? It means that whenever A is created and hello value is assigned to it, it means hello is stored in the memory somewhere because it is a value. So value is always stored in the memory. So hello is stored in the memory, and who is referring to it? Who is using this value? A. Then what happened? This second statement says that B is also hello. So now hello is already present in the memory. So what will happen? A new hello will be created? No. The same hello in the memory will be used, and now B is also referring to the same hello. It means hello is created only once. If there are same values, those values will be given memory only once, and all the variables, they will simply use them. So that's why when you say A is B, it means A and B are referring to the both value, same value. So you got the true. However, with the list, the case is different. So suppose I have a list 1 with the values 1, 2, 3 in it, and then I have the list 2 with the same values 1, 2, 3 in it. When I will say list 1 is in list 2, it is giving me false. So what does it mean? It means that list 1 is having value 1, 2, 3. So what happened? So memory is assigned to 1, 2, 3, and L1 is pointing to it. When L2 with the same value is appearing, is coming, so again a new memory to 1, 2, 3 will be assigned. So when it is asked L1 is pointing to same L2, no, they are pointing to different things. That's why it is false. But why in case of string, it is assigning it the same memory, and in case of list, it is assigning it different value memory? Because in case of string, I told you that strings are immutable. Strings you can't change. Okay, once created, hello is created, so it cannot be changed. Okay, so if it is not changing, A can also refer to hello, B can also use the same hello, C can also use the same hello, D can use the same hello. Okay, so if A try to change hello, it is not possible. It means B is now tension free that my hello is safe. If C tries to change hello, it is not possible. So B is now safe. D is also now happy that this hello will never get changed, and we can refer to it. But in case of list, what happens? If I try that list also takes the same value, sorry, same memory, and list not like this, that there is one memory assigned to 1, 2, 3 also, and both the lists are pointing to it. Okay, now list is mutable. So what do you mean by mutable? That list can be changed. Okay, if L1's list changed now, what change happened? That 2 is deleted. Now if 2 is deleted, so it will be deleted also for L2. Only L1 is deleting it, but if you are deleting it, it is in the same memory. So L2 is also referring to it. It means for L2 also it is deleted. This is not a good thing. So that's why lists always get separate memory. Strings always get the same memory. Now I told you that list is mutable. Okay. So what do you mean by mutable? Mutable means you can do changes to a list that you created. Now, what are the changes? I'm not going to do the makeup of my list. This is not the change. So change is that you can, if you have created a list with the 3 elements, you can add new elements to it. So originally the list was created with 3 elements. Later on, I am adding 2 more elements to it. New elements. Yes, this is possible. This is a change to the list. 2 more additions possible. New additions to the list. 2 more elements I am adding possible. I'm not interested in an element. I want to delete it. Yes, this is also possible. You can delete an element from the list. There is a value in the list that you want to update. You want to assign a new value. This is also possible. So there are so many operations that you can do on the list. It means changes are allowed. It means it is mutable. Okay, so let's tell me how to do the deletion first. So which operator I'm going to use to delete elements from the list? Del operator. The name of the operator is del. And if you read the name, del is short for delete. And it is used to remove the elements of the list. Okay. So suppose I have this list in the beginning. The name of the list is L1. And how many elements it has? 100, 200, and 300. 3 elements it has, all the integers. Okay. Then how to write del? So first of all, you have to write del because you are going to delete. And then you have to write the name of the list L1 and which element you are deleting? 0 index element. So what this statement is saying? This statement is saying delete list 1's 0th element. So what will happen? So this 100 will be deleted automatically. When you press enter after it, 100 will be deleted. And when you check the contents of the list, when you display the list L1 again, now you will get only 200 and 300. It means now 100 is being deleted. There is one more example that this is the list now 10, 20, and 30. Even you can delete using negative indexes, right? So if I write del from L1 and write -3 as the index, so you know that minus, oh, what happened? 10 was not good. Okay, so if I write del L1's -3, it means this -1, this is -2, this is -3. So what will happen? This 10 will be deleted. And when you display the contents of the list, only 20 and 30 will be there. Okay, so if I write del L1, so suppose I have a list L1 equals to A, B, C, D. And if I write del L1 -1, so what will happen? Delete L1's -1. So what will happen? This D will be deleted because it is the last element in the list. And when you print the contents of the L1, what will be the output? Output will be only A, B, C. That's it. Because now D is being removed from the list. Using this method, I am about to delete one element at a time, right? But if I am interested in deleting more elements, so how I can do that? So I can write, suppose this is the list I have and I want to remove more than one element out of it. If I write del L1 0 till 2, I can write it like this also. I can give the index also. Okay. So what will happen from 0 till 1, because 2 is not considered, 100 and 200 will be deleted. And when you display the contents of the list, only 300 will come. Okay, so you can delete by giving the start and ending index. Okay, start from 0 and go till 1 less than 2, that is till 1. So 100 and 200 will be deleted and only 300 will be there. Okay, then this topic is also there, that is list comprehensions. Now what do you mean by list comprehension? Let's see here, that if you have an existing list with you, you can use that existing list to create a new list. Okay, now what does it mean? So suppose I have a list L1 and in the list I have 10, 20 and 30. Now I want that I just want to create a new list L2. This is the existing list I have, and I want to create a new list L2. To create this new list L2, I am going to use this list L1. Okay, what is the rule? I want that in the list L2, all the elements of L1 will come, but only after doing addition of 1 to each element. I'm repeating, in L2, I want all the elements of L1. Okay, it means how many elements are there? 3 elements. but I don't want the same elements. I don't want 10, 20, and 30. I want that to 10, to every element of the existing list, one should be added, and then it will be given to the new list. So by 1, I mean that this 10 will get added with 1. It means 11 come here. This 20 will added with 1. So it means 21 will come here. This 30 will added with 1. So 31 will come here. So I have used this list, but to each element I have added 1 and I am creating the new list. Okay. So it is a tool for transforming a given list into another list. Now don't look at it, just look at it. Okay. So suppose I have a list 1. This is the existing list, and it has elements 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay. Now I'm creating list 2. So what is the syntax? So you first write the name of the new list, L2 or list 2 or anything. Okay. Then you write equals to. Okay. Now you consider that each element of this is represented with X or I or J, any variable. That's your choice. So suppose here it is representing it with X. So each element of your list, existing list, is represented with X. So to X you are adding 10. To every X you are adding 10. Now how it will go from one element to the another element if you have a for loop? So for X, for every X, for every element in list 1. This is how I am writing. X plus 10 for every X element in list 1. So when you display list 2, what will happen? Every element of list 1, which is X, is now added with 10. So 10 plus 10, 20. 20 plus 10, 30. To every element you are adding 10. 30 plus 10, 40. 40 plus 10, 50. 50 plus 10, 60. You can write it like this also, that I want a new list L2, that is X multiplied by 2 for X in list 1. So what will happen? To every element 2 will be multiplied. So the new list will be 10 multiplied by 2, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So the next topic is splitting a string in list. If you remember that this topic I have already covered in strings also, that if you have a string, you can convert it into a list. You remember that there was a string like this C, and in that string there was a string S, C, C++, space, Java, space, Python. This was the string. And then what I did, I applied S dot split. What happened? The whole string is now, sorry, I have to put it in double quotes and not in, because this is a string. So this is a string S, C, C++, Java, and Python double quotes. Then I will write S dot split. So the output will be in square brackets. C, one thing, comma, C++, 2 times Java, Python. So don't you think that now it has become a list of strings? Okay, so the string class contains the split method. This split method, although I am explaining it with the list topic, but otherwise this string, this split method is a function of which class? str class, and it is used to split the string into list of words. So suppose I have this string L1 equals to welcome to Python program. This is a string, although I am representing it with the list L1, right? But it is a string. Okay, if I write L1 dot split, then what will happen? Now what is this? This is a list. Okay, in the list every word is coming as an element. Welcome is one element, comma, 2 is another element, comma, Python is another element, comma, programming is another. What is the benefit? You know that to string you can't do changes because it is immutable. But if there is a requirement, there is a need that you want to do the changes. So can you convert your string into a list? Yes. I will convert it into a list by using the method split. Why I'm converting it into a list? Because list is mutable and to list you can do the changes. I have proved it. I have deleted something from the list. It means obviously there is changes happening to a list, right? So it is a mutable kind of object, means changes. And it is a sequence of 0 or more elements. So in a list, you can write this So this is a list with nothing in it, with 0 elements. Or you can write list and you write 1, it means it's a list with 1 element, right? Index operator can be used. You can use positive or negative indices. And why we use index operator? To access the elements. And list can be easily passed to a function. We are not passing it because whenever we will do function concept, we will do it that generally to function you pass variables, but now you can pass them list also, even string you can pass. Okay, now you can use the method. These are the methods that you can use on the list, and I will help you with one or more of the methods. So these are the elements I have in the list. So I was telling you that you can actually do it like this. You can just display any element. So 0th index element, if I say that display the element at the 3rd index, okay, so I have to write here 3 only, 15. Okay, although in the list it is the 4th element, but if it is third position, so it means 15 should come here, right? After that we were working on del. Okay, so it is del, and then what is the name of the list? List 1, and which element I want to delete. I'm not interested in this element 12. Okay, so I have to look for the position. It is 2nd, so I will write del L1 is the 2nd element. So what will happen now? I will check that if this 12 is present there or not. So how I will check? I will just display the list. Can you see that 12 is now missing from the list? It means it is deleted. Okay, so I was telling you that you can just fetch any index like this, that I want to display the list starting from 0 and go till now it has less number of elements. So suppose 4, it means whole list will be displayed. If I will write the reverse of it, it means I will write starting 0 and the end I miss, even then the whole list. If I miss both the things, even the starting I miss, even the ending I miss, again the whole list. If I write both the indexes same, what will happen? Nothing I will get. Okay, so after that I was telling you that we can also work on the functions. Okay, so similarly, like we were getting the functions of the string, we were writing dir in the small, I have to write dir, and str we wrote, right, to get the functions that you can apply on the string. Similarly, if we want the functions that we can apply on the list, we have to write directory list. So all the functions that you can apply on the list will be displayed. Can you see? I will tell you. This is a function sort. How to use it? So let's create a list which is not sorted. Okay, let the list be 5, 2, 4, 1, 6, 0, 3, 9. Okay, so this list is not sorted. You know, sorting means that it is arranged in an order, ascending or descending order. Generally it is arranged in the ascending order. So this list is not sorted, right? If I will apply L1 dot sort, so what will happen? Who is this? Don't do annotations, otherwise I have to just disable annotations. So if I'm writing L1 dot sort, it means I'm sorting L1, okay, and by applying which operation? Dot sort. So what will happen? Now if I display L1, can you see that it is now a sorted list with all the elements arranged in an ascending order? So these are the operations that you can apply. If I will apply this, suppose clear on it. So this is my list now. If I will apply L1 dot clear, what will happen? All the elements, let me just like this, L1 dot clear. So what will happen? Now L1 has nothing in it. All the elements got clear. Okay, so you can apply any function that is available. Now one thing is that these functions of list, you can't apply them on strings. String functions you can't apply on list. Okay, so in the list we have the functions like pop means to remove is also used for remove. Okay, reverse, you can reverse the order of your list. Okay, copy, you can copy one list from the another list, count. So if you want to get the idea, okay ma'am, how to use these functions, what is the syntax? So you can get the help list dot copy. What you have to do, you have to write help. You have to write help, and then you have to in the brackets write that this is list switch function dot copy function, and it will help you with it, that it return a copy of the list. If I want the help on reverse, suppose, so I will write help list switch function reverse function. So what it will tell me, that it will help on, it will reverse the list, reverse in place. Okay, so how to reverse? Suppose I have a list L1. Let's create a list L1 and let's the elements are 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if I just apply L1 dot reverse, what will happen? List will now get displayed in the reverse order, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Okay, so you can try all these functions on your